Welcome, my fellow metalheads. I'm Terry the Terrible. This is my first official Metal Snob album review, or album reviews in this case. I'm excited to finally do this and share some of my favorite, least talked about deathcore albums of 2023. In a year where death metal pretty much ruled, deathcore was all but forgotten about, with the exception of a few of the more popular releases. Three albums in particular I want to talk about because no one else did. Even though they're all deathcore, they all have a dynamic sound that sets them apart in a genre with blast beats, killer breakdowns, crushing riffs. And my least favorite part about deathcore is the pig squeals, which the bands I'm going to talk about really don't do a whole lot of that, which is another reason why I think they're kind of set themselves apart from a lot of other people. So without further ado, let's do this. All right, first album I want to talk about is a band called Soul Debt. The name of the album is Ascendant, released August 5th. Soul Debt Ascendant. Love this album. These guys are just a young band, formed just a few years ago, back in 2020 in New Jersey. They're a progressive deathcore band with death metal influences, tech death influences. The guitar player in this band is absolutely amazing. Sets a great melodic tone on top of being just, punishing and brutal at the same time. The album starts out with a track called Futile, pretty much sets the tone for the entire album. Just kicks you in the face with blazing guitar, menacing blast beats, and it just doesn't let up. The musicianship in this album is very dynamic, once again, due to the amazing guitar player in this band, especially for a young band that's only been around for a few years. This is already their second release. The vocals, the guitar, the drums, the bass all have their own place in the mix. Nothing overpowers each other. There's also great melody. Like I said, this guitar player just sets the tone. It's ominous, it's punishing, but the melody alone, the time changes. You don't feel like you're hearing the same song over and over again. There's definitely some thought to the song progression and how they write their music. They definitely put some time into this album. I highly recommend it. Soul Debt Ascendant. Give it a listen. All right, next up we have Salem Burning with their album Immortalia et Imperium Mortis, released May 21st. Salem Burning, Blackened Symphonic deathcore band formed back in Brownsville, Texas, back in 2019. This album is just evil. Starts out with a Charnel God with this ominous piano, kicks in with menacing screams, growls, great atmosphere thrown in, punishing blast beats, but groovy at the same time. Kind of sets a tone for the entire album. It's evil, like a horror movie soundtrack. Different vocal dynamics, along with some creepy spoken words thrown in here and there. Throughout the whole album, it just kind of sets a tone of this ominous, creepy, bone chilling experience when you listen to this album. There's a constant sound of an organ that gives it this horror movie soundtrack. It's creepy. That's the best way I can describe this. It is just creepy. It's all over the place. It's punishing. It takes you down into some like weird, like almost like you're crawling into the basement kind of stuff, kind of figure out what the hell's even going on down there. And then hit you with more punishing riffs, a lot of creepy sounds thrown in the entire album. And honestly, by the time you're done listening to it, it just makes you feel like you want to die. Salem Burning, Immortalia et Imperium Mortis. Give it a listen. Okay, here it is. Last and definitely not least, Solar Eruption, The Demon's House, released January 27th. All right, everybody. Before I get to my third and final album, I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe. I plan on doing more of this next year in 2024. This is the very beginning of my channel. Just having fun with this thing. Like to get some conversation started with some people. Put some comments below. Like to know what you guys are listening to. Whether you like this, whether you don't like this. Let's just get a conversation going. Share with me some of the bands that you guys are listening to. Some underground deathcore, death metal, groove metal, whatever you guys like. I don't care. This one specifically is deathcore, but comment below whatever you guys are listening to. I'm always curious to find new music. I'm the metal snob. I'm a metal whore. I always try to find something new. So without further ado, let's talk more about Solar Eruption, the Demon's House. Technical deathcore, symphonic deathcore, with apocalyptic horror themes. These guys are formed in France back in 2018. This album starts out with this just ominous, menacing, creepy. Welcome to the Demon's House. It's just this little minute and change, 2 minute intro with like, creepy organ sounds, like the beginning of a Dracula movie, and it just gives me chills every time I hear it. And then it just boom kicks in with the first like official track, Red Room, and it is just awesome. It's punishing. The guitars, the vocals, the blast beats, along with this atmosphere that they carry out through the entire album. It's got this really cool undertone that just, like I said, makes it feel like a Dracula, like you're watching a Dracula movie. The vocal dynamics are outstanding, going from deep growls, high pitched shrieks. We have several guest appearances on this for vocals: Dan Watson from Myrlore, Pierre Daniel from The Novelist. We got Vincent from Fractured, Ed Garcia from Vitalism. Overall, this album is haunting. It's brutal. It's very technical, and with a great atmosphere thrown in there. You never hear like you're hearing the same song twice. Highly recommend this album from beginning to end. It's an amazing listen. I've been listening to this pretty much all year. I talk about it to my friends constantly. So once again, Solar Eruption, The Demon's House. Give it a listen.